Muy buenas tardes a todos y todas de las diferentes nacionalidades que están aquí presentes. Como ustedes saben, hemos llevado un proceso importante en este día y mañana también vamos a llevar un proceso importante con nuestros talleres de Manuel. Y estamos aquí para, primero que nada, conversar con ustedes, con los compañeros expertos en el tema de la consulta, sobre el tema de las vulneraciones a sus derechos, lo que está sucediendo actualmente con el gobierno de Lazo, la realidad actual, y yo creo que es un espacio muy importante porque es justamente para eso lo que estamos en este momento movilizándonos y compartir estos momentos con ustedes. Entonces, con estas palabras quisiera darles la bienvenida a cada uno de ustedes, a nombre de todos quienes nos comparten aquí, de los ponentes, dar la bienvenida a todos, a cada uno de los territorios que han dado como hacer viaje para estar presentes aquí. Con esto, damos por abierto este foro, donde van a estar participando algunos también, preguntas, dudas y lo que digan también acá los compañeros.
We're officially opening this forum, so welcome everyone. Thank you very much. My name is Sofia Florin. We're here to speak about the right to consultation. We have stated 3 moments. At the first moment, we are going to analyze the current conjunction, the terms mainly due to the latest decisions made by the national government with Decree 95 and 151 and how these public policy instruments are violating and breaching the rights. In here later on, we're going to have a second panel addressing all of the history. This is going to be a count on how there has been a breach of collective rights. And finally, we are going to have some experiences from the Wayan who are going to provide us with inputs. In this context, I would like to begin the first panel where we have our partners to begin here on civil rights and human rights and how there is going to be an instrumentalization of prior consultation. You have 30 minutes to carry on. Thank you very much to the organizing institutions. A right to anything, mainly a right recognized by the Constitution of participating in state decisions that may affect peoples. This is the umbrella of the consultation. In Ecuador, there's
tienen derecho a ser consultados siempre que se vayan a tomar decisiones sobre recursos no renovables en sus territorios. Le hicieron, ahí, alguien le hicieron una consulta, alguien ha vivido un proceso de consulta en esos términos, en alguna de sus comunidades. ¿No? Bueno, es que esa es la realidad en el Ecuador. Entonces, cuando nos pregunta Sofía cuál ha sido la realidad de la práctica de la consulta previa en el Ecuador por parte de los gobiernos, ha sido precisamente instrumentalizarla a favor de los intereses del gobierno y no a favor de los derechos de los pueblos. Entonces,
So today I wanted to tell you a little bit about how this is going to be stated in the Ecuadorian Amazon. What does Decree 95 means in their territories, in the territories of the Amazon? The first thing said in this decree within the plans of the government is that there is going to be an increase of oil production to 1 million barrels per day. That means it's going to double. And so for this, as it was said in the press conference, there an intensification of field activities will be carried out. So here I want to show you the first class, block 43, the ITT block. As you see in the map, in the environmental license, environmental permit provided in 2019, the Ministry of Environment had approved for oil activities to be carried out, the road construction, and one last platform called Ixpingo Bay before the buffering area. It cannot be seen clearly, but underneath Ixpingo Bay, you have the limit of the buffering area. So right now we have 10 additional kilometers from the intangible area. So this is how things were before. So if we move the satellite images, you can see the construction of the road and platforms. We can see that the Diputini Center had been built. Here we have the road, Chanacocha as well. Here we get to Tambococha B, and over here you can clearly see the buffering area of the intangible area. So let's move forward. Where is it right now? The road is currently over here. It is 400 meters from the buffering area of the intangible area. Several groups for human rights have carried out actions of cautionary measures requesting justice to pay attention. They are about to go into the buffering area of the intangible area. So they even have plans to expand oil exploitation within the buffering area and reach the intangible area. So this that I just told you about is not, we haven't taken as a reference the maps of Petroamazonas EP, where they show that the road is going through the buffering area, reaching the intangible area. There are going to be exploration wells in Ishpinga within the buffering area. So this is a reality. This is real. Last week on Friday, we had a hearing in the Constitutional Court where basically we were requesting for Article 751 to be this impeached. And this decree was a cheater because the buffering area was increased respecting what was said in the prior consultation. However, more than increasing intangible area, decree 751 allows for activities to be carried out in the buffering area, which is fully unconstitutional, as the Constitution states that the territories in isolate near the buffering area are intangible. Otherwise, this would be ethnocide, and this is the risk that you saw right now. The road is 400 meters away from the buffering area. So the calculation that I carried out, seeing how the road has moved forward, and this is 0.31 kilometers a day, meaning if they begin tomorrow working, in 7 days they will be within the buffering area, and in 45 days they will go into the intangible area. So that is why we need for justice to act immediately. so that we can have this. What we have said was denied because, in the consideration of the companies, that there is no imminent damage, so they want to go into the buffering area and see what happens, setting at risk the lives of isolated populations. So what we have here is what's going to happen with mining and oil. All in red are mining concessions that have already been given. They are operating here. And so they're going to promote the flexibilization of environmental, social safeguards that companies need to comply with to start working in this area. Of course, we have heard what's happening in Morona, Santiago, mining concessions, but the blocks in dark green are the blocks under exploitation, and in a clear grid are those blocks where there is no oil activity. This is a considerable area of the Amazon. Thank you very much. Let's move on, please. And this is what the government wants to bid through the southeast round. The round east round, they mentioned that one of the projects that the government of Encounter will be developing is the southeast round, and that means 21 oil blocks affecting the indigenous territories of 7 indigenous nationalities, and they are located on 90% of indigenous land. So here the question is, here we have representatives of all 7 indigenous peoples. Were you consulted? Did they get your consultation to carry out this project? And this was already explained by Dr. Douglas, okay? So beyond this, there is an addition to the cultural importance of this and the life importance that these lands have. In this satellite image, you can see the status of conservation status of these territories between 21 and 2020 in the area where this oil project is. Only 3% of the vegetable coverage has been deforested, meaning in this area we have the better kept forests of the Amazon region. And this is no coincidence. This is because that's where the indigenous peoples territories are. 90% of this are indigenous territories. If they were protected areas, they would be in exploitation as it happened with Yasuni. Next one, please. So here in these maps, what they were trying to show is biodiversity there is in these areas. Colors brown and yellow show high biodiversity. Here we have amphibians, here birds, and over there mammals. As you can see, to a large extent of these blocks, there is wealth from medium to high to very high. So here we have biodiversity importance that needs to be taken into account when carrying out this sort of policies, because our constitution also recognizes the rights of nature. And this is what needs to be respected when thinking of generating a mega project as the exploitation of these 21 oil blocks. Bearing in mind that we have also heard that at this moment the Amazon is undergoing an inflection point, meaning these places where deforestation has taken place, the Amazon cannot be recovered. And so this area is being desertified. And so these areas are becoming deserts. And this is happening a lot, mainly in Brazil. There are great areas where this has happened, this desertification of the Amazon jungle. I said the slide wrong, but this is what I was telling you about. This is Petro Amazonas map. Here is where the plant is. Within the buffering area, you see 3 red dots. Those are oil platforms, and the purple dot is an exploration well. These are the plans they have. You say my time is over? Okay. I believe just to wrap up, let's go to the next slide. Well, I had some similar slides to this one regarding where mining projects are located, but I am going to finish right here. These are the mining projects that are concession in Morona, Santiago, and Samo. Chinchipe, what you see underneath in purple is the Cordillera del Cóndor and the Cordillera del Cutucu. So they have important biological importance as those where the oil project is, because this is a cordillera, this is a mountain chain, these are the hotspots of biodiversity. There are 35 around the world, and this is one of them here in Ecuador. And besides that, they are indigenous territories of the Shuar nationality. So where do these oil projects and mining projects want to be carried out? In indigenous territories and in areas of importance for biodiversity and conservation. So there are additional elements here that are part of the suit presented before the Constitutional Court. Thank you very much. I apologize for taking some extra time. Thanks. Thank you, Carlos. Next, we have Melissa Moreano from Geografía Eclíptica. She is going to talk about how mining concessions and oil blocks currently are and the impact on indigenous peoples and how the rights have been breached. Good afternoon. Can you listen to me? Okay, good. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for listening to us. I also thank the organizations that have put together this forum, and thank you for having the Geografía Crítica group here. We want to share the extractivism data that we have. This is a work carried out among several people. I am just the person who is going to tell you about the research we've made together with this group of people, and also trying to talk on the advance of extractivism that Veronica and Carlos have talked about is affecting, and it's going to affect even more the rights of indigenous people. So this is in relation to how the mining oil progress is affecting the territory. So here I'm going to share this as well. I'm leaving the slide here. These are some websites where you can see maps with data on mining concessions. This is about the mine cadastre, where there is free access. Anyone can go in there and look at the information that I will be sharing with you today. Next slide, please. This is a map. Here we took the mining cadastre of the state of mining concessions, the squares that they draw on the map of Ecuador, and we combine it with indigenous territories maps. And we found that 400,000 hectares so far of indigenous territories legally recognized by the state, not ancestral territory, which is wider, but the territory that the state recognizes as belonging to the people. 400,000 hectares are affected by this mining concession. So the different peoples are affected differently. Look at the Shuar nationality. 68% of their territory is affected by mining concessions. And in the highlands, the Cañari people, 60% of their territory is affected. Also the Otavalo, Saraguro, the Awai Quichua nationalities are those affected the most. A large percentage of their territory is within mining concessions. Next, this chart shows us that the mining carried out in Ecuador is made by concession, small or large scale mining. Small scale mining is really little, and then the artisan metal, they are extracting metals. You can have a rock and sand and other minings, but metal mining, copper, silver, gold, platinum, that is very pollutant, is the largest amount of concessions. Good news here is that several of the concessions, actually 80% of them, are at exploration or initial exploration stages or advanced exploration, meaning they are still carrying out a studies and working on a small infrastructure to start exploitation when the extraction comes in. Only it's not only, it's almost 20% of concessions are going into an exploitation stage. That means extraction or are under extraction, but 80% of concessions are still at an exploration stage, meaning we can still stop these projects. This is the time to do this. When they're at this stage, there are several projects that can be stopped. And so I want to talk to you about two projects that you might know of. I believe we're going to listen to testimonies later on, two mega projects, two of the five emblem strategic projects of mining. Mirador, which is a project that is extracting copper and Bonanza San Carlos in Zamora and Morona. So the mega mining project Mirador is in Zamora Chinchipe. It has affected the Tundaime population. There were evictions, violent evictions in 2015 of a neighborhood of the Tundaime. They had backhoes, militaries, policemen coming in by force to establish a part of the camp structure. In red, you see all of the infrastructure of the project. And here we have affectations. This project is where Jose Tendet, sexual leader, was murdered. It has provoked river pollution, deforestation, and an important river affectation. So this red spot that's here crossed by a yellow spot, that is going to be a huge retail. These tailings, actually, these are like dams here, and so these are product of mining exploration. These sludges are very toxic, and they're going to be retained by a cement wall that is not well constructed. They believe they're not going to be well built, and they might break because this is an area with several seasons and earthquakes and rain. So thereby this tailing, this dam for toxic sludges might break and flood the full area. So there is a lot of deforestation here. This tailing, for doing that, they are going to have to dry the Tendaime river and place the toxic waste here. Here we're going to see a sequence of images by Carlos where we're going to see deforestation caused by this. It didn't want us to show this to you. So. Well, this project had also caused deforestation. I'm sorry about the technical problems. We see these projects. What is the excuse the government is giving us is that they are not in indigenous territories. Indigenous territories are farther away, that they shouldn't be consulted. But in the maps, we see that indigenous territories are very close. Again, the ones recognized by the state are very close to the areas of direct influence, that ones that are going to be affected or are impacted by the projects. And in no one of these ones consultation has taken place. They are projects without consultation, violating the mining laws as well. So there in the corner, you can see the Shuar territory that has been legally recognized by the state. All of this is, however, with documentation. We have this one in the upper left corner. You can see it close to Tundimen, so if the tailing breaks, Shuar territory will be affected. So there needs to be consultation. There should have been consultation before building all of this. Next slide, please. Next. The other project I wanted to talk about is Pananza San Carlos, that's in Morona, Santiago. This is a project that, according to the mining company plans, will double the other one. This one has a crater, a hole. Pananza San Carlos is going to have two holes, one on each side of the Zamora River, that are going to be put together through pipelines, mining pipelines. If this breaks, the Zamora River will be polluted. So in this project also, we had violent evictions to the Nankis and Swim communities in 2016. We might have heard of these full families violently evicted, children traumatized because in the middle of the night they were taken away. So this is the area of Mirador in 2010. This is 11 years ago. One slide further, this is 2015. This is the deforestation that happened due to the project. And next one is 2017. This red circles is where infrastructure, tailings are, the whole of the mine, all of this. Tindaime is close to it, and the short territory is right there. So they should have been consulted, but the state said, oh, it's not short territory. So this is what I was telling you. The Mirador tailing is going to be the largest dam in the world of this kind to hold toxic sludges, and it may break. This is huge risk that we need to resist. So what happened in Brazil might happen here. I don't know if you heard about Brumadinho. This dam was broken. The toxic waste was actually spilled, and then lots of people were impacted. Here we have Pananza San Carlos. Here we have the two red circles are the two craters next to the Zamora River. Here we can also see there is shore territory surrounding the project. So the project is right in the hole between two territories of two shore centers. And they say, oh, this is not shore territory. The problem in Icons was actually this is not shore territory, and people were saying, yes, it is. And they say, okay, no prior consultation needs to take place, but they are in the direct area of influence of this project, so they should have been consulted. Next slide, please. And just to close with oil, same thing has been done. We have the information of the oil blocks here and how they impact indigenous territories. Here I wanted to show you again the Zaparachirear territory are almost affected to 100%. Almost 100% of the territory is within an oil block. Same thing happens with the other Amazon nationalities. More than 50%, more than half, their territories are inside oil blocks. One slide more, please. There. Perfect. So this to close. This is a graph we put together on how hectares are given to mining companies, how the mining border keeps moving forward. So we have from the 60s to 2016. You can see how the line goes all the way up. That means since 2015, land has been given to mining extraction, and this trend is going to continue with Lasso. So here we wonder how, in this context where more extraction wants to be carried out regarding oil producing gases provoking climate change, we can actually talk about ecology transition. This is a lie of the government. You cannot say you are walking a path towards economies that use no oil when you actually are on the race to extract more oil. This is a full lie. And last one, please. Just to give you these images, those resisting oil, those fighting climate change are the peoples. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Melissa. I believe this was very interesting, and it is important to see the status of the projects and at what time we need to stop them. We have lots of advantages to do this, to build resistance, defense strategies so that we can actually focus on how to work together for doing so. Right now, what we're going to have is the participation of some partners that are going to give us testimonies. They are going to tell us about how the projects have had an impact in their organizations, in their structures, how there has been an absence of prior consultation. And so for this, we're going to have our partner, Josefina Tungi, who is the president of the Shwararutam town, and she's going to talk about the affectations of mining companies. Within the Shwararutam, we have more than 60% of her territory concession. So she is telling us how this process has happened and the impact and vulneration to collective nature human rights that Shuar people are facing in the Cordillera del Cóndor.
Gracias.
Thank you. Dear partners, organizations here present, participating in this very important event. Thank you very much for this integration. Our government of the Canayas nationalities, the Nidazisa, thank you very much for inviting us and having the Amazon into account here. A lot of strategic allies for human rights, Amazon Watch, and the people of all nationalities here in this space. I would like to highlight in honor of truth how we are living as Shwararutam peoples. The Shwararutam people have been resistant for more than 16 years. Within this, in 2006, the companies appeared with different names. Currently, we have Solaris, the Resources Canadian. In 2006, they were evicted from Warrens. Well, they signed an act, a document, an agreement of not bothering people anymore and going into the territory again. However, they are more, they are bad people in mining and gold. And in year 2018, the former president of the Shuar people, Vicente Numi, signed an agreement, even though they were leading a demand, constitutional
Recording
demand,
stopped.
the income of these companies, not only Solaris Resources, Juan Carlos de Pananza, Manguinza, were the extraction companies. Now that we have Tendeme, that's the headquarters.
Recording in progress.
And here we have the concession of mega mining. So again, here it happened that the company tried to back away a little bit, but they organized better and looked for better strategies. They repositioned the 2020 during the pandemic. the camp was on fire, and we don't know who did that. Culturally, in our territory, we recognize that these are forests where there is life. There are lives, invisible lives, where no one can realize. Nature can act, and we are not actually realizing this. And there was a fire then. And Nanginsa, where they had this on fire, Chinese went there and they built a new camp, and that's what they are now. Since there, from there, they are analyzing San Carlos Tananza.
Recording
That
stopped.
possibly the corporation is already there because it is in
Recording in
concession
progress.
as well. But here we are representing 47 terrific centers, and all of these centers, short centers, are in these places where the concessions are now. This is our concern right now. So here the leaders, few of them and few authorities are trustworthy. I want to tell you the truth. The presidents of parish boards, mayors, political tenants, and some trustees, even presidents of associations, get when the headquarters looks for help, they ask for collaboration to the company, and the company gives them, and that's what they will give out. And as the company they are recently publishing, they use the press, they post saying that the communities are getting support and royalties from these concessions. This is what Solaris Resources is doing. Recently, whenever we in this my administration in 2019, is not me as a chairwoman with my space, with my communities, we have sued nationally. We have carried out protests and talked to the media. We have worked on the on suits. So whenever we do this work, the company meets and they have dominated the Warrens community within the Peshan. So here, so they are publishing there and they are meeting and getting together. They are also publishing that they are carrying out these events. They publish that with the government, the ministers, they are getting to, and so they are signing agreements. So this is what is getting on our nerves. What strategy do we need to look for?
Recording stopped.
Need to continue working, giving resolutions, and working on diplomacy. For us, diplomacy is out. So on the 11th, this is an important matter of this great invitation for authorities to come, for them to listen to the people. Well, welcome the press that come here and they record and take pictures, but it is not believable that after these interviews, what they are publishing, this is fake. That's what we need. We don't know what they are afraid of if they say the Amazon belongs to all of Ecuadorians. They need to go there and no one came. The minister of government. So here, the people talk, the presidents, we already talked. We said the people needs to solve its very own problems. We have no representatives, no governments. We finished the Peshang Assembly 2 days ago. This is what we were waiting. We wanted to solve this. We have resolutions, and this is what we will be talking about. Otherwise, everyone, Ashwar, no one is going to respect us if we remain quiet. They are abusing our trust. We cannot continue on this path. So it is not a right. We know the rights are written. We know the articles of our rights and what they warranty. Even though we memorize those terms, those articles, human rights for us is as if they weren't there. The government just keeps going. They just keep doing things. And so we need to act. This is the only thing that we have decided. That's why, dear partners, I want to invite you. Don't be afraid. Let's get together. Let's provide moral support. President Leonidas Issa, you are not alone. We are all here, even though we are in the Cordillera del Condor, far away. We know where the press is, where the leaders are, where the Canaya, the Confenia, the Cocueca leaders are. Don't dismay. Raise your voices to these governments, these ministers, this President Lasso that we have chosen, thinking that he was going to be different. And now we could have governed as autonomous peoples. Mestizos are bad for us. Sorry about that, but if the Amazon was covered with Shuar, with nationalities here, we wouldn't have been here wasting our times with speeches and just walking. We would have been there governing well, and our resources would have been way better than what they are now. We are smart. Several say, Shuar, indigenous people, they don't want mines and oils to be exploited. But we can do that. We can walk that. I walk barefoot. If I can do that, I am not ashamed of being Shuar. They say we are Jibaros. That's good because I am from the jungle. I am from a culture of the jungle, wherever, worldwide. Why do they want to know the Amazon, the Cordillera del Condor, the protected forest, the only pieces of Amazon there are? So this president is shameless, and they are taking advantage of the Amazon, saying that this is an Amazon where we protect the forest. So they are shameless. They sell it. The government already took the money. Where is the investment for our development? There's nothing. There's nothing there. Defending Chinese, Canadians. They're not defending our rights, dear Ecuadorians. The government is not defending us at all. They are defending Chinese foreigners, those extractivists. It's a lie. They say they are working on prospection studies. The day before yesterday is not true. They are taking things in trucks. So, president of the Confine Magnum, thank you. They came here to our territory and they know what's happening. They are going in helicopters, taking it to Patuca, and then in trucks, they are taking material. We don't know where this is headed. If these are just rocks, then why are they taking them? Why are they taking them if that is just useless stone or rock? In Quito, are there any stones? Why don't they take Quito's stones? So we are not fools. We see these things happen. I know here, smart people will be here in these events because in these sort of special events, no one realizes, but we know that there is someone in here giving information. Those giving information, they better just stop this. We have told Lasso, we have told the governor, we have told the company itself, stop flying because you will be sorry later on. Because that's where we will go. With these words, I have said enough. It is the same reality we're all living. Thank you very much. Long live the company. Long live the company.
Muchísimas gracias, Josefina.
Thank
Ahora
you
nos va a
very much,
acompañar Mario
Josefina. Now we're
Wisner,
going to have
Presidente de Salud
Mario
de la
Wisner,
Nacionalidad Achuar de
Health
Ecuador.
Director of
Justamente,
the
Mario nos comentó
nationality.
cómo los
So
proyectos
Mario is
petroleros
going to
han
tell us
generado
how
impacto
oil
considerable en el
projects have
territorio
generated
y en la
impact
región.
on the
Mario,
organization
¿podrías
of
por favor
and
pasar
division
acá
of a
a la
process. So
mesa
Mario,
para
if you
dar su
want to come
exposición? Tiene 10
here to
minutos.
the table, you have 10 minutes for your presentation.
Gracias.
Thank you. I would like to greet my fighting partners, warriors of nationalities here at this time with us to understand what how they are working in this. So thank you, dear Yachur Leonidas Isa, government of the nationalities, our dear brother Marlon Richard Vargas, president of Confenie, and technicians, staff who are comprising our glorious organization of Confenie Conayecuaica. My name is Mario Besum. I am the health director of the HR nationality, and I would like to say, dear partners, what has happened in HR territory. Partners, we're actually weaker people. There are people who want to fight for our lives. But for several years now, as always, we have people coming and threat us, saying that they are going to come destroy your land, our lives, our territories. So our partners, former political directors, have approached the national government. And so leaders have been chosen. They have sent them to our territory to socialize so that there is we allow the oil companies to come in. But as we are always saying, people are not blind. So we have assessed what funds are there for the mobilization because they were paying flights, they would take groceries, food for the assembly, and people who didn't have their public official function, we detected that very fast. So as a trial people, before the assembly, we have asked where they got the funds, what NGO is providing them to carry out these campaigns of going into a trial territory. So among themselves, they had clarified that such a person did business with oil companies. And so there are partners, there are some people, some weak people who have gotten together to build a new HR organization. They wanted to split the HR organization, but by means of assembly, a congress of our organization. Ourselves, we have fight several times to solve these problems. So people who didn't understand that they wanted to get in trouble and in conflict among tribes, we have shot each other because when there is this point, mestizos will not be coming in. The military will not come in. Our children will come fight with us. And so, in this time, the people, leaders who were always had troubles and conflicts, we have expelled them before the Congress of the organization on behalf of the Echuan nation. We expelled that person so that he can go live into the city. Otherwise, if we do not do this person will continue affecting more people. So this way, we solved the problem that we had that in the HR organization. And so the government is looking for lots of excuses, like with Sociobosque Foundation. In HR territory, we have that as well, because communities, some have signed agreements for 20 years, and then due to bad management, they have trouble with the ministries. And so this is something we're also fighting for, so that we can close this agreement so that there will be no more affectation to our territories. In the Pastasa territory, the Chinese company came in, cutting down balsa. So with this, we have also had conflicts, us as authorities, with our base.
Recording in progress.
Because as human beings, whenever whenever they see money, they are easy. They anticipate the money. So what does the engineer do? They do not come close to the organization. They just do direct personal businesses. So here we have lots of causes. In Capatasa, we have a road now. There is a road. And so the foreigners came in from other cities. And so there was a lot of drugs there. All of these was, we've also fought for this as well. That's why I'm telling you, partners, leaders, dear authorities, you need to control your leaders, your youth. Even if they are your husbands and your spouses, then that you need to control them. Otherwise, families will be divided. This is what happened in our organization, but we have been able to solve this through the assembly, through the Congress. That's how we have solved this, and we always solve problems, partners. So we need to bear this in mind, because we are talking for our lives, not only for the life of our people, but for the life of the world. We're fighting for it. But of the chosen authorities, through popular consultation, the government doesn't understand. Now they don't understand what the Constitution says, what human rights say. That is why us, as peoples and nationalities, have always been standing and fighting. We've lost our beloved ones in October. You see what happened. Partners, I always finish with this intervention. We
Recording stopped.
are careful. We need to be careful with companies. An example, we had the president of Fitch, a partner. I don't know why he came to Quito without participating here to what we are participating. He talked to President Lasso before, so he must be around with his dad drinking something. But if we look them in this way, we ourselves as authorities are going to continue looking for more division. We need to buckle our seatbelts and work on unity. If in MAG we're leaders, and if we're capable, we need to work together. The people is our advisor. People are controlling the authorities. And so, to finish my intervention, Leonidas dice, don't feel alone. You have the people behind you. The actual nationality, if there is make a decision, they do not want to be in Pechamacas, Puyo. We all have always walked to Quito, to our capital. We have sacrificed, made sacrifices with you and fight with you. We're the same blood, the same people, Leonidas dice. So you have full support on behalf of the HR people. And also our commander, president of Confenie, Marlon Vargas, son of the HR people. Feel with us, feel with the people and nationalities, because with us, you will fight. Without the people, you will not be able to do anything. That's why, dear authorities, be careful and always talk. We need dialogue to be able to negotiate or give something so that you can actually keep restrain from dividing people. We do not want those leaders. We have made mistakes as people, but with these mistakes, we need to get more expertise for the good of people. Thank you very much. Machwaransan, Machwara Mari, Morona Santiago, Parana Santarine. Long live the nationalities. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mario. I would like to invite Octavio Mangos, President of Territory of the Shiva nationality. Octavio, please. Hello, please come in. Thank you. Mr. President Leonidas Isla, President of CONAI, President Mario Vargas, President of Confeñay, people here, presidents of the different nationalities, delegates, men and women, good afternoon. My name is Octavio Nango, lead of the Shiva nationality of Ecuador. We are located on the east. It is located in different blocks, 5 blocks. We have 84, 85, 86, 87. As nationality, we have kept and we have decided to protect our jungle, our water, protect our culture and everything in our jungle. Therefore, once I've said this, dear partners, the government in office is looking for a strategy to be able to divide nationalities in between siblings and nationalities. So with this, the government looks for people, some people who were politicians, and within these, as nationalities, we have expelled them or sanctioned them. And the government looks for this sort of people, and they make a consultation and they say, okay, that's the consultation. This nationality has accepted, and that's why we start working. So from there, the problem starts. Division starts. As our partner from the extra nationality said, yesterday, the day before, we had an assembly in Canton Aguarico in Tipotini, and those talking about this oil problems, saying that we have to fight together, to fight as a unit. And then they came here and they disappeared because I believe it says that these Schwab siblings say they were negotiating with the government of Lasso, and then they said he got in the way, and that's why they disappear, and they are here. And they are talking what we said in the assembly. So, dear partners, let's think and analyze this from the bottom of our hearts for future generations. This fight will continue as Shia. We're going to keep our firm position, fighting, defending our territory, looking for unity to be strong enough and defend our future generations. Thank you very much. I would like to thank everyone here at the table and everyone in this room. And thank you very much for the opportunity you have provided me of being in front of you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Octavio. I believe we can evidence that with the testimonies of our partners, that the collective right to prior free informed consultation, not only in practice, this right is vulnerated, but there is a concurrence of the vulneration of other sorts of rights, like the right to self-determination, the right to peaceful meetings, associations. The state and the companies have used fragmentation strategies of the organizational weaving and the culture, denying the right to identity, generating dividing strategies. And this is what we've seen in our partners' testimonies. So the way in is defending the prior consultation. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is just what's up there, the superficial part, because what's actually there is protecting human rights, collective rights, the rights of nature, to go deeper and to be able to establish defense strategies. Right now, we're going to have the testimonies of our partners coming from Sinangwe and Waurani, who have already established fight and defense strategies for the collection, for the collective right of prior consultation, who are going to share their experience and probably some forecasts of what's coming next. This is an experience that can be useful for all of us to strengthen our rights agenda in the territory. In this sense, I would like to welcome Montenenkimo, representative of Concona Web of Waurani in Pastaza, and he's going to talk about the resistance and contribution to fight of the Waurani people to climate change.
Baponi gawari ke ay ngati ke ma ay mone monku mini pa na mai minito pasta sa gamene mini temo ki mini virok pi mini mande tererani apa toma mañana kima vamos levantar primero.
Okay, let's stand up first so that we all have energy. Come on, if we're fighters and we are here for life, we need to be here in harmony, strength, and all together, not only Wauranis, but we are meeting different nationalities, and we need to say, long live the resistance. Yes, long live the resistance. Yes, okay, let's see. Now it's better. Okay. Okay, my name is Montenenkimo. Most of me, I believe, know me. Some might not. I am a representative of the Waurani Pastaza community. We have carried out a history for the first time in Ecuador, but I want to briefly tell you, in 2012, in the Waurani Pastaza community, the Ecuadorian state came into the Waurani territory. Not on consultation was not made. They came in Puyo, Conconueva. They just came to talk. and explain, and as they didn't understand, they authorized the entry into the Waurani Pastaza communities. Waurani didn't even know what this was about. They didn't know what they were coming into the Waurani territory. Some of the Wauranis were not only at home. We are hunting, we're in the chakra, fishing. We are not at home. We usually are out. The community, they came, a flight landed, and some Wauranis, so few of them were there. As always, they go out into the truck and see who came in, and they got some forms saying, here, what needs do you have? And they didn't even ask why they are here, who they are. They just asked what are the needs in this community, Mompari, my community. And they said, okay, we need a school and education. And they signed and they give them bread and soda, and they went and land to other community, and they landed in 10 communities, and they justified that this was a consultation in Guarani territory per block, oil block 22 to come in. But it was not respecting the cosmovision consent, asking children how important this is, if an oil company comes in, what may happen, environmental impacts, all of this. No, just like that. They just came in. And then we were working, mapping our Waurani territory. We knew, like, as a guest, as old people were, the elders in Pastasi, they know, because we have an oil company in other province. And what development is there? We haven't seen any developments there. Actually, we've seen pollution every month. There's a spill in our rivers, in our communities. Not only the Ecuadorian government has not actually cleaned that, they just let barrels spill over and over again, and not even the press goes in to see the facts there. They have the control in the territory. Now, as Pastasa Waurani, we knew that if oil company came in, we would be prejudiced as other communities living with pollution. Diseases, there are diseases that we've never heard of. Cancer, several of them are provoked from other provinces, and that's why our struggle was so important. The Pastaza Waurani community doesn't want oil to come in, because we see oil companies here in Guarani Orellana, and what are the benefits? None. This is fight, division. It is like fragmentation. We have alcohol now. Oil people control us, makes us work in villages. They give us $300, and this is for help. It's not because of damage. They are not restoring what needs to be done. But at Waurani, in Pastaza, we want to tell the Ecuadorian government we do not want this, because there are enough oil wells in Waurani territory in other communities. But as Pastasi, as Waurani Pastaza, we are clear on the fact that the government needs to provide us with education and help, not in exchange of oil companies, because they lie. They keep lying. Lying. If the company comes in, they provide us with education and health, but that's a lie. The support is not here. Without a company, we live well, we eat well, we have hunting, we have clean water, we have land to crop, to walk around, to relax. We want our children to be happy in the future, because in Waurani territory, as you see, in the city here, we have drugstores, hardware stores. We have the same thing in the Amazon. We have wood for our houses, leaves to build, medicinal herbs to work, to get healthy. We have everything. We don't want the oil company to come in and prejudice us. If this happens, they will affect us. And for future generations, what are we going to leave our children with? They will not have this freedom. They will not have this joy that we have right now. We all depend on the jungle, our knowledge, our singing. We depend from that. We are not part of the city. We do not live in apartments. We walk for hours to go hunting and fishing. That's what we want to live. We don't want to live in the noise, road, or pollution. We don't want that. Our territory or jungle is our home. That's why we declared and we said, we went into a large assembly and we said, what are we going to do? The government is saying, this is in 2018, that block 22 in Waurani territory in Pastaza, there is an offer and any company can go in. And we said, what's the home of the government? Because they all live in other parts, Yampari, Sabino, communities 3, 4, 5, they're collectively, we're sharing there and living there. The oil company is going to prejudice us all. It's full prejudice. So we are going to decide if we're going to allow the company to come in or no. And then we had an assembly and we said we're not going to allow the company to come in because we're living with oil companies, with provinces where our siblings or relatives are living and they are not happy. They are not living in harmony. And so we said, okay, now we're going to do with our wisdom, with the words that can do, then we're going to sue the state. And for me, this was a joy because for the very first time in Ecuador, they failed in favor of the Waurani nationalities. For me, it's not only for Waurani nationality, but all of the Amazon nationalities. In 2012, they went into free consultation and they went into other sectors, not only Waurani Pastaza. So I felt like this precedent needs to be complied with other nationalities need to be there. Prior consultation needs to take place. And so we are there. We have won, but the Ecuadorian state hasn't complied their promises. They haven't come to our territories. They haven't made a hearing. We haven't forgotten about that. We are resisting from our territory, from our home. We're going to keep fighting for this. That's why I invite all of the nationalities. They are not prejudicing only the Waurani communities in Pastaza, but all of the nationalities that are living the same. As our partner just said, we need to get together, not divide each other, because Lazo's government is dangerous. I see dialogues with former directors, with the weak directors, because I see this as a woman. I am a representative for the basis of the Waurani community in Pastaza. I'm not as a leader here. I'm here as a mother because I have children and my children need to enjoy the jungle free from diseases and filled with joy. This is my fight. My children inspire me. That's why I am fighting, even though it is very difficult to come into the city. A woman from the jungle to come and organize and do things. But why are we here? This is one single cause for this. I get afraid of organizations, mostly men. I see they are weak because the government negotiates and offers money and it's like they fall. It is like we are fighting and then our maximum representatives are dialoguing, doing favors. I don't like that as a woman. I will never accept that. I will not do that. And if leaders do this, we need to reject these leaders out of here, expel them. If they are dividing our territory, if they are negotiating on our behalf, we need to tell them, go live in the city with your money, your wealth. Let us live peacefully in our territory. This is what we need to state as a principle and sanction our statutes. So what I see is that our partner Isa is the first person here that I see is there. Hopefully he is firm and makes a firm decision that we're taking as the basis and representatives. Otherwise, what kind of a struggle are we talking about? Our nationalities get together And it is not getting to favors, it's negotiating at the table. I would like to clarify that here. Why we are here? We're here for the life of our children, future generations, and for the world. This is not for indigenous peoples. Everything we are preserving is for providing oxygen to the planet. So I am inviting all of the societies, not only indigenous peoples, but full humanity living in the planet needs to join and fight. Thank you. Next, we have Wilder Wanama, sorry. He is from Sinangoe. He is part of the Indigenous Guard, and he's going to give us his testimony on how the territorial recognition of the process has happened and the threats of it.
Guardia, guardia. Abajo los decretos. Arriba la vida.
Long, apparently we're all sleepy because as the board of directors, leaders of each one of the communities and nationalities of Ecuador. On behalf of Sinangue, I am here to greet you with lots of warmth and love for all of us. We are a small community located in the Sucumbíos province, Gonzalo Pizarro, Gandon, Puerto Libre Parish. We are here to support the Canaye, the Conjepeñae, the Coica, on a constant fight that we've had as communities and peoples in face of this extraction situation. I would like to be brief, not to get you tired. I want to tell you about the fight, the struggle that our community has led in recent years. In 2017, the government in office, through the ministries of environment, of the Water Secretariat, ARCON, provided 20 mining concessions in our territory, in the border, and 32 additional concessions that were in process. So in face of this, as a community, we did the following. We first got organized and tried to look for the best strategies that will allow us to face these problems that they were going to cause in our community. So we decided to strengthen our Indigenous Guard and to put together our own territorial protection laws to be able to protect with greater strength our territory that had been threatened by the Ecuadorian state with these 52 concessions. So now, after this, we presented a protection action before a judge as the right to prior consultation to our community had been vulnerated regarding these mining concessions. After 2 years, in 2019, we got a sentence in favor of our community where the competent judge of the canton said the rights to prior consultation were vulnerated as well as the rights of nature. It was a historical day for us as Cofanes, and thanks to the support of a strategic alliance of people's communities, organizations nationwide and internationally, that we have been fighting and we have done things. So after this, in this process, the ministries, through their lawyers, what did they do? They appealed and we had to go into a greater instance at provincial level, where provincially we also got other sentence in favor, with 3 judges in Sucumbíos ratified the violation of free informed prior consultation, as well as the right of nature and other rights such as living in a healthy environment, etc. So this was the second stage where, as a community, we were able to achieve this victory in face of 5 ministries of Ecuador. Finally, this happened at a third stage where lawyers of the ministries presented an extraordinary action in the Constitutional Court where they closed the case of this process. So again, Sinangue has been able to win this fight. And this is unique and new for us. So right now I would like to shout out and say Sinangue is small but big. Guardia, guardia. After this, dear partners, I would also like to tell you in face of these two sentences in favor of our process in 2020, the Constitutional Court of Ecuador selected the Sinangue case and the case of our Guarani partner to carry out national jurisprudence. What does this mean? That the judges of the Constitutional Court will have to carry out a sentence in favor of the communities regarding prior consultation. Even though it is true we had a year of a pandemic, and just about a month, probably, if I'm not mistaken, we had a delegation of our Guaranis partners and the people from Sinangue in front of the judges of the Constitutional Court requesting for a hearing to carry out national jurisprudence from the cosmovision, from the heart, from our hearts as indigenous people. So we were clear on this and we demanded the court for a hearing to be carried out in territory if possible. I want to tell you, dear partners, that we have an answer on behalf of the Constitutional Court for the Sinangue case. Jurisprudence or the audience of jurisprudence will be carried out in Cofan Sinangue territory. So round of applause for that, please. Thank you. Moreover, for November, we have this hearing, which is another huge thing for us as Cofanes, and I would like to invite all of the organizations, communities, because we believe that this is the opportunity of showing the judges of the Constitutional Court that our rights need to be heard and warranted. Regarding prior consultation, first, to carry out binding prior consultation, and as it was said before, so if the community decides to negotiate, extraction activities will be carried out. And if they say no, then they need to respect what our rights state in voice and vote. So I finally want to say that as indigenous in the city, we can live. Yes, we can live as mestizos. We need our land free from pollution and mining to live as Cofanes indigenous peoples and as peoples and nationalities of Ecuador. Thank you very much. Thank you, Reader. We have also scheduled the intervention of a person from the anti-mining front. You're Patricio, right? Patricio Mesa, can you come here with us? Wherever you want. If you want, you can take my place. Dear partners, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your invitation. I know we're tired for being here all day long for this very important day for the fight of indigenous peoples, peasants, fighting extractivism, and that's why I will not be long. Regarding the National Front, the anti-extraction National Front, this front is in construction. We are building the proper conditions to articulate the fights that are in the country in relation to mining. So this is how we have organized from the northern part of the country, and from the north, the Carchi, Esmeraldas provinces in Babura, the north occident, the northwest of Pichincha, we have a front which is called the North Front. Here we have the people fighting against mining in the Indag area, in Bachijal, in Suárez Occidente, in Chical, in the area of Carachi, Eloy Alfaro, in Esmeraldas, San Lorenzo, Esmeraldas. In this area, there's a concession called Cascabel. This is the largest silver concession, they say, in the world. I don't know if in the world, but in Ecuador, yes. It's huge. It is like a ball that is 2 kilometers under the surface, and they are going to start exploring so that they can exploit there. We have Buenos Aires here as well. So this area over here is in constant struggle to defend the different fragile ecosystems in the northern area of the country. We also have in this central area Pampas, Belimbela, and Bolivar, Pampas in Cotopaxi, Palo Quemado, and Bilimbel here in Bolivar. So the idea is to be able to articulate this struggle, the struggle of Tilimbela as well. This happened before the protests of 2019. They were stated the first boom for the people, as we know, in October 2 years ago. We have to the south front. Here, the front of the country is devastating for peoples. We have Cuenca, Azuay, Rio Blanco, Loma Larga, Girón. To the south, Loja, Fierro Urco, the people from Gualel, with whom we are also fighting. We have people criminalized here for having made justice, popular justice against mining camps that are working in the territory. We also have in the Amazon, our partner Josepina from Chorarutam said, we have Fruta del Norte in Zamora, we have people in Sumbarechito over here as well, Bananza, Pananqui. There's the population. We have the partners from all of the territory of the Amazon, Transputu, Warins. We are fighting this mining extractivism in the central Amazon area. We have the people from Napo here. We have Nadia, Napo, Resiste, Napo Loves Life. Sawata, they are also fighting. And then to the north, we have the Sinangoe people. So there is an invitation to become one so that we can go over all of the different extractivism projects regarding mining. What is the strategy, dear partners? The idea is to be together in face of the real threats we have of destroying and polluting our territory. The legal way is one way, and that's fine. We have won several sentences. Several sentences are in favor of us from the mining point of view. We have Canton Eloy Alfaro, Canton San Lorenzo. We have cautionary measures, Los Cedros, Intag. We have that as well, Rio Blanco, in Azuay, same thing, Loma Larga, that has prior consultation, Cuenca, in these last elections, won as a canton free of mining. They said 80% of the population said no to mining. So we have an infinite number of sentences won, but the government has not done, not has overseen and underseen these sentences, and they are not complying with them. Now, the legal part will help us as extractivism brings that behind us. We need to be organized and we need to be ready so that at any point we will defend the territories as our parents or siblings have done before and our grandparents before them. This is not a fight that is now. We have this since the European invasion. Let us remember the chronicles. What did they say? How much gold they took from here, how much silver they took from here. They say that a gold bridge could have been built from America to Europe. So it's not a thing that happened just now. Our culture has been fighting and resisting for more than 500 years, facing this theft of capitalism, of this capitalistic system, because the gold taken from here during the colony was used to potentiate the world's capitalism. This is the originary accumulation and where things began, because whenever you want to have a business, you need capital. So the capital in the world that is in the US, EU, China, and the most powerful people worldwide, the capital, the seed capital, as businessmen said, came from Latin America, and this is still happening. Our territory is still being robbed. So here we can play an economic role in the world, which is being raw material, being a rented country. We need to change this, to transform this, to think of a better future, as our partners have said before me, to build a better world in this America, in this land for our children. And we have two events so far as anti-mine in front, one in Shinya, Navon, in the south of Ecuador. In the Ecuadorian south, we have great people there. We have Leonidas, Marlon, Confeñae, Conaya as well. And the next one was carried out in the north in Indag. In Indag, Guayaje area, that's where it took place in Pichincha, in Canton Cotacachi, and in this area, we could also say no to mining in large scale here in Ecuador. So that's what we are doing, dear partners. The idea is to become stronger together. I would like to thank all of the information generated by the different academic areas. This is very useful for us to know what the real threats we have in the territory are. Thanking this information, I would like to thank you for the time of sharing this couple of minutes with you. These are actually hours we've been sharing together to be able to reflect, debate, and articulate the different fights we have in the country, because we will not be able to do things alone. History has said that we need to get together to beat the state wants to divide us. This is what I had to say. Thank you very much for the space, and we will continue talking. Thank you. Okay, I am going to stand right here because next we have Jorge said. He is a lawyer, a defendant of human rights from Mamas and Friendly, and he is going to detail the Sinaway Waurani cases to establish the defense strategies on prior informed consent and consultation. I am going to just go to the front. And I am here next to the table, supporting us. Thank you very much to the table. Thank you, Leonidas, Marlon. I would like to thank the table. I was remembering what's happening in the territory, land, water, life. This is what moves. Okay, there we go. A great part of what we're fighting about for and what we're trying to get with your efforts of peoples and nationalities. Thank you very much for being here right now. I am in the Sinanwe Assembly. Hopefully, I am not fined for not getting the Kuzma again. So I'm with Waurani, and thank you for the support of the Ganaye. And I will believe Nemonte or Wheeler have said most things regarding Sinangue and Waurani processes, and even less regarding what Veronica just said at the beginning. Finally, from the few things that I can add as people want to close with our ceremony, but the legal process in this case, and hopefully Sinanwe Wallo will listen to that and the other campus as well. This is like the tip of the iceberg. You see just the tip of it going out in the water, but the toughest things are in the bottom. Legal processes are nothing without the peoples, the communities, nationalities know how clear lawyers can do a thing, but supporting and accompanying the efforts and commitments made by you, the peoples are the protagonists. They are the stars, not outside, not those outside supporting or contributing one way or another. So, in the processes, I provide my vision and correct me if I'm wrong. But this happens as all of the communities have gone through, all of the peoples through recovery and internal thread strengthening of identification as a community as people. So going back and see ourselves as communities or peoples, forget or start forgetting about the fact that we depend that those outside the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Energy, are the ones that need to solve problems or conflicts to us. Peoples and nationalities have history of organization, life history, and history of relations with the territories. And these processes were promoted in Sinangue and in Conconaweb, or the 16 Pastasta communities. This recovery of feeling identified with the land, survival as nationality or as people beyond the national state, this is what gives the strength and what finally fosters this maturation process, the legal law, as Leonidas was saying this morning, the legal ways and possibility, but then we have resistance and the autonomy processes free of determination and self-decision making that mark the history of towns and peoples. In Sinangue, Waurani, we decided to walk the legal path, and we won, as Monte said. Some other times we had lost, but we won. But in the end, the vision of this process that was worth to unify, to discuss, to reflect, to look into the future of communities, of peoples, of nationalities, all was also used to be aware that as people, community, or nationality, the decision of that community, people, or nationality needs to be respected, and even more in a state as this, where the Constitution says that it's pluricultural, plurinational, meaning the people in Quito, the government needs to look at them horizontally and not upside down to you, the people, the nationalities, because you are the same. You're a nation. Each one of you belongs to a nation. Just as Ecuador, Ecuador is a nation. And this horizontal view is something that the state has never respected, and they have treated our peoples, our elders, as if with a discriminative look, as if they meant nothing. This is what today is undergoing a process that has no stop. This is not going to stop. And the sentences won are also hopes for the other peoples and nationality. This is the hope that finally something might change. But this might change and is come from their own decision of these communities and nationalities that you have. Josefina, we all know her. She has history of hard struggles. We have Safra Chua here in the highlands, the movements, and finally, this strength, as Wheeler was saying, that gives us the way, that gives us reflection, that gives us looking inside out as a community is what promotes Sinanwe Waurani to demand the Constitutional Court something similar to what today, this morning, we were saying to the court. In our territories, we decide. We decide in our territories, right? Meaning, the decision for a community, people, or nationality needs to be binding, needs to be respected, and needs to be mandatory. Why? Because you know that, and we are fighting for that. Territory, land is life of people and nationalities. And that we have been able to win through insistence, through strength of Sinanwe and Konkorawe and Maurane Bastasa, that for the first time, the Constitutional Court, these judges that are here in Quito, that are working in their hearing rooms, go into indigenous land. Why? Because they are convinced that they need to listen to peoples. They cannot decide sitting in a chair without listening to what you feel, what you think, what you want, and how you see your future. That is respect to peoples and nationalities. And they will go to Sinangue, they will cross the Aguarico. Hopefully, no one drowns, but they will be there because they want to take back this feeling and go to your comprehension and understanding. And this is the fight of everyone here, from the community to the Conaye. And in this will, all of us need to be involved because whatever comes out from the court, and this is what we want the Constitutional Court, besides going to the field, for the first time, they will talk about consent of people and nationality.
Como bien decía Wheeler, con efectos para todo el país, que esas decisiones deben ser respetadas y aceptadas por un gobierno. Y que si una comunidad o una nacional dice que no, ahí no va minería, no va petróleo, no va hidroeléctrica, porque el dueño de la tierra es el pueblo. Es ese pueblo.
If communities say no, then no one will come in because communities are the owners there. And this is what we want, the expectation, and this is what we need to get. Sinanwe, November, and mid-November, you're invited to participate. Whomever wants to go there, you need to be listened by the judges that are there, and you can contribute to this criteria of the court. Hopefully, they talk about consent in their sentence, decide on consent, mining, and then with Waurani, with Pastasa, and also in the oil field. We fought for that. We presented that, and you have fight. And you will continue fighting with the constitution unconstitutionality action, saying the government stop. This fight is carried out now legally, and the Constitutional Court has now the great responsibility of having Ecuador not being a state, a colonial, hegemonic, chauvinistic state, and a state that does not know and discriminates ancestral peoples in Ecuador. This is the process that was done, and this is what we look for with this decision by the Constitutional Court. And that's why I insist, Sinangwe, we are going to receive everyone coming in, our Guarani brothers and sisters, and we will get all of you there because whatever comes from there will affect all peoples and nationalities. So this is an important point in time, and we need to show the court and the country that people are fighting and they will not stop fighting until their rights are recognized, until they are protected and guaranteed. So that whenever there is a dialogue table with organizations, this dialogue will be real, honest, respectful, and horizontal. This is the struggle. This is our fight and what we look for in these cases. Thank you and good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Now to finish, I would like to invite Leonidas Isa to take the floor for closing words and also the partners that will light the fire to finish this event.
Muchas gracias, compañeros y compañeras.
Thank you very much, dear partners, for those contributions to the panelists and from the nationalities of the Amazon nationalities, the legal team that has accompanied us in the fighting process. I believe it is important, dear partners, to make decisions in our lands. In our lands, we are the bosses, not them, because we live in our territory and we need to take destiny for our children, for the future generations. So long live the struggle, the resistance, and long live the Amazon. First, I would like to restate my thanks, and I would like to commit to the struggle of our peoples, as our partner in the Monte had just said. This is not an individual problem for leaders to just calculate politically what is good for now and what's good for later. This is defending life. So we will put our lives at stake, and that is why I believe it is so very important. Over these days, we've had lots of gossip. Only trusting our struggle will allow us to face this. Otherwise, they have also said that leaders are looking for positions, and I've heard they actually said Mr. Isa is saying working with the national government, not me. I was clear.
Ningún dirigente se aprovecha la condición de dirigente para acomodarse. Ningún dirigente se aprovecha ser dirigente para acomodar a su familia. Estamos aquí, compañeros, porque hay una decisión colectiva, no porque hemos pretendido ser dirigentes, compañeros. Y si es que eso sucede, simplemente la autoridad colectiva, todos, ahora en el Consejo de Gobierno hemos dicho, todos nos sometemos a un proceso de justicia indígena hasta que, compañeros, se mantenga la rectitud de los dirigentes, compañeras y compañeros. Quiero decir esto con absoluta confianza y con absoluta seguridad, porque, compañeros, enfrentamos no de pronto una pelea entre hermanos mestizos, o el mestizo es más malo, o el indígena es malo. Ahora mismo estamos viendo que recorre en redes sociales cómo nos tratan, no. Había en levantamiento de octubre de 2019, había una autoridad de la universidad, que era de la universidad, como decía los indios, solo hay que dar plata y acallan nomás. Ahora estamos escuchando audios similares. Compañeros, aquí no es el que paga más o el que tenga plata más. Aquí, compañeros, es principios de vida. Por ello, nosotros debemos decir, en este proceso, compañero Marlon, juntos hemos enfrentado, juntos vamos a continuar. Por ello quiero decir que no es un problema del mestizo o el problema del indio, no es el problema del gringo, no es el problema del asiático, del europeo, no es un problema de los afros, no es un problema de los campesinos, no es un problema de los agricultores. Compañeros, Este es un tema del modelo que nos han traído hasta aquí. Debería, ahora mismo, en la COP26 se va a volver a discutir sobre el calentamiento global. Debería la COP, por principio, para precautelar la vida de todos los seres humanos, deberían declarar todos los que tienen, a partir de la usura, de la opulencia, compañeros que andan protagonizando, ¿no es cierto?, o extendiendo honores, ¿quién tiene más plata? Deberían ser declarados, en este caso, antiético y antimoral, compañeras y compañeros. No puede ser que un grupo de seres humanos en el mundo estén acabando con la vida de la madre tierra. Debe ser declarado de esa manera. ¿Por qué? Porque millones de seres humanos no podemos acceder a la comida que sí existe, solo porque no permite, en este caso, garantizar lo que significa la concentración, no permiten que la gente acceda a los alimentos. Por ello, me parece importante, la COP26, los gobiernos seguirán discutiendo las normativas generales, pero los pueblos seguiremos sosteniendo la lucha por la libertad de los territorios a nivel mundial, compañeras y compañeros. Quiero cerrar este espacio nuevamente reiterando nuestro compromiso apegados a la tierra. Aquí nos hermanamos, queridas compañeras, compañeros, de diferentes colores estamos aquí, de diferentes culturas estamos aquí, pero aquí nos hermanamos en la sangre, que somos hermanos o hijos del agua. Nos hermanamos aquí, compañeras y compañeros, en el fuego, porque todos, en este caso, así seas de cualquier nacionalidad, compañeros, sostenemos con la fuerza, con la energía del fuego. Nos hermanamos, compañeras y compañeros, en la tierra, porque aquí tenemos pues la carne, los huesos, las uñas, todo, ahí mismo estamos. Y nos hermanamos, compañeros, en el aire, porque todos necesitamos respirar. Así que esto no es un problema de indígenas, mestizos, blancos, gringos, cholos, montubios o lo que fuere. No, es una cuestión de cuidar la vida. Y si para cuidar la vida estamos dispuestos todos a dar la vida, entonces vamos a defender la vida, los territorios de los pueblos y nacionalidades. Muchas gracias, dejo cerrando este evento tan importante para poder seguir discutiendo. Muchas gracias.